In the era of rapidly developing e-commerce, China's online platforms have designed and created the largest online shopping festival, November 11th, known as Double 11. It's a once-a-year opportunity to stimulate consumption and the desire to spend. It's also known as Singles Day because its numerical form looks like four bare branches, a Chinese expression for single and unattached. E-commerce giants, including Alibaba Group and Jingdong, expect this day to be a carnival for consumers as merchants cut prices. At its peak, Alibaba Group offered 24-hour discounts and free nationwide shipping. This strategy has succeeded over the last 14 years, but this year it didn't work. The reason is simple: China's economy is weak. The China Finance 40 Forum, a Chinese think tank created in 2008 that specializes in issues of economic and financial policy, recently released its macro policy report for the third quarter of 2023. The report points out that China's macroeconomy is still running at a low level, and economic recovery is constrained by insufficient demand. In the format of special topics, it analyzes how to expand consumption in the short term. It has offered the observation that the growth rate of consumer spending has dropped sharply after the outbreak of the epidemic, and the recovery of consumption after the epidemic has been relatively weak. The promotional activities of this year's Double 11 focused primarily on low prices. For example, Taobao featured Double 11 daily low price, and Jingdong had a theme of so cheap. Both highlighted the present economic situation, where low prices are the mainstay of the market and the most effective incentive for consumers to take actions. But the reality is that even lower prices aren't necessarily affordable for some people. Look at this thief. After being caught, he took out items one after another like magic. Just when you think it was over, he pulled out another item.
There's no escape for anyone. Each and every one of us is being forced to pay for the consequences of corruption. Over the years, the key resources of justice, healthcare, and education have been wildly acquired by a very small number of privileged people who take away the gains by accepting bribes, abusing their power, and other criminal means. We, the people, on the other hand, haven't got the basic fairness that we deserve. The ordinary people have no choice but to be forced to settle for what's left. Education, healthcare, and justice are all vital resources that are constantly being encroached upon, and society is in a state of total corruption, while we, the people, have to bear the consequences. In the end, they are the ones who are happy, and we are the ones who are in debt. Today, 800 million people are in debt, and the delinquency rate is over 42%. Nearly half of the people simply can't afford the payment. That is to say, 800 million people are paying for those corrupt people and officials, living a terrible and fearful life that they worry about where their next meals are. Is this really fair? Can we really trust this regime and system? When power is abused, when resources are wasted, when money becomes the only measure, is there any place for morality and conscience in this society? If the momentum of corruption doesn't stop, people's pursuit of truth, kindness, and beauty will all be in vain. The social atmosphere will become increasingly degenerate, and the distorted values will affect the whole society. Therefore, I strongly urge the relevant departments and people from all walks of life to strengthen the supervision of the platforms and the system, because only in this way can the phenomenon of corruption be reduced, social justice and long-term stability can be realized. Only in such a society can our debtors be discharged as soon as possible, and only in this way will a better living environment cease to be empty talk.
More and more Chinese people are awakening. Some people say that people born in China were cannon fodder in times of war and are chives in times of peace. When one realizes that the value created by one's own efforts is harvested like chives by the CCP elite group, it might as well stop making efforts. This is why the doctrine of lying flat was born. Its slogan is, "If only I lie flat enough, the scythes won't be able to get me." Not to mention the fact that many Chinese chives are in debt. In such a social environment, it's understandable that people's desire to spend has really diminished. Jingdong's strategy of so cheap plus guaranteed price is said to have scored a hit. However, a survey report from Bain & Company, a US-based strategy consultancy, shows that 77% of the 3,000 people interviewed didn't intend to increase their spending during the Double 11 period. According to a questionnaire conducted by the official media China Youth Daily among the 1,000 young people interviewed, 74.2% of them chose to place orders only when necessary and useful, while 68.2% would only consider if ordering was cost-effective and provided value for money. Recently, the topic of young people only shop at B1, B2 basement level in malls has gone to the Weibo hot search, arousing heated debates and highlighting the fact that everyone shares the same feelings. For the topic of young people only shop at B1, B2 basement level in malls, netizens commented, "The higher the floor, the more expensive things are," or, "Because what we can afford are all in the basement, so the only place to go is B1, B2. Some netizens said, "One day I suddenly realized that when I went shopping with my friends, we went straight to the basement floors every time. It's not the height of the floors that prevent us from going, it's the price of the products on the floor." These comments are in line with the latest data released by the Chinese government. According to data on November 9th by the National Bureau of Statistics, China's Consumer Price Index (CPI) fell 0.2% year-on-year in October 2023. This followed a 0.3% year-on-year drop in July and dipped into a deflationary level, while the Producer Price Index (PPI) fell 2.6% year-on-year. It was the 13th consecutive month of decline. The entire economy suffers from weak demand. These indices suggest that people are unwilling to spend or are unable to spend, both on a macro and micro level. As a matter of fact, it's not only online stores that resort to low prices. Offline stores in China have to lower their prices too to attract customers and compete with online stores. This was 9 a.m. on a Saturday. A long line of customers was already waiting outside the Shanghai New World department store. They were store members who bought coupons for the exclusive annual sales. There are additional discounts. We pay 300 yuan for a 500 yuan coupon, and there were 30 to 40% off in the store. If you add them up, it's about a 60 to 70% off promotion.
The cosmetics are 23% off, with coupons, signing cash gifts, and bank promotions. In total, it's about 50% off.
The flow of customers is estimated to be close to 100,000 people. Promotion events will run uninterruptedly until the end of the year. However, discounts of this amount are only available in malls of scale. To the general shopping malls, the high-class restaurants and brand-name clothing stores located on the upper floors are no longer able to attract young people. It's another way to have provided evidence for the trend of downgraded spending. An impression that stands out is that people no longer compare who buys high-class and luxurious stuff, but rather they compare who finds quality goods at low prices. It's as if people, especially young people, have suddenly changed their mentality and awakened to the reality of life.
Brothers, it's strange, so strange, as if overnight the whole society has changed and the people all awakened. First of all, no matter how much you push it, homes aren't selling. Previously, arrogant real estate agents have all shut up. Now, if anyone claims to be a real estate investor, they'll get spit on the face. Following that trend, there are fewer and fewer brainless stock players in China. They have all abandoned the stock market. Secondly, short videos are like a cultural renaissance, raising the level of awareness of Chinese people by a few notches, and people are starting to think more independently. In the past, we all believed in whatever experts said, but now, as long as the experts put out strange remarks, the comment section would be full of ridicule and cynicism, advising the experts to stop giving out advices. Third, the number of births has fallen below 8 million. Why? Because young people have all awakened to live for themselves. They don't get married, don't buy homes, don't have children. At the same time, people have become immune to the brainwashing of consumerism. Now we all know what we want and need, and we no longer follow the trend blindly. We mainly focus on what's practical and economical. Fourth, there used to be a lot of crooks, because Chinese chives were naive and waiting to be taken advantage of. One can casually mention a project, dress up a persona, rent a limo, a mansion, which would attract a lot of attention and eventually empty everyone's pockets. Now, as long as you want to show others how to make money, the comment section is the unified tone that the ones who teach to make money are trying to chip money out of people's pockets. Fifth, young people are beginning to break away from relatives. They don't like to visit relatives during the holidays anymore. With the intense competition in society, the emotional value within the kinship slowly disappears. Who still likes to visit relatives nowadays? What you get is either being compared to others or being blamed for not being successful in your endeavors. As the Chinese saying goes, if you're poor, even if you live in a crowded city, you will be alone. But if you're rich, even if you live in uninhabited mountains, the most distant relatives will flock to you. It's an unchanging truth. 6. When listening to the brag of bosses, less people are prone to be brainwashed by accepting their psychological hints. More people are taking civil service exams. Fewer people are interested in buying major brands. More are pursuing what's economic and practical by only buying the necessities of life. And fewer will bury their heads in the sand and put up with hopeless jobs. More people are starting to travel and become interested in poetry and faraway places. Fewer people care about the taste of things, but more people are checking out the ingredient list. 7th, we used to always be led by certain goals. It's all about the midterm, college entrance exams, public servant exams, etc., as if we were always working hard for some sort of goals from one to the next, cycling through without an end in sight. We have never lived for ourselves. When we were young, we were told to get into a good university. When we grow up, we're told to get a good job. When we get married, we're told to be good parents. When elders get older, we are told to be devoted and filial. But no one has ever told us why we are living. Nowadays, everyone is starting to think about the meaning of life. So why has it suddenly become like this? Anyone in the comment section knows?
The 2023 Double 11 Shopping Festival received more attention than ever as China is mired in deflation. Boosting household demand is seen as a key measure to avoid sluggish economic growth. Double 11 thus became a key indicator of confidence in consumer spending. On Alibaba's Taobao and Tmall platforms, consumers were offered a discount of 50 yuan or $6.86 when they spent over 300 yuan. Alibaba also pledged to offer 80 million products at the lowest prices this year, and had pressured merchants to cut prices on Double 11. The promotion started at the end of October. Pinduoduo and Jingdong, on the other hand, offered cash back to consumers who shopped on their respective platforms. What Jingdong didn't realize was that the discounts it offered to its customers would end up bringing a lawsuit. A certain brand of oven sold by Li Jiaqi in the live stream is over 300 yuan more expensive than that of the Jingdong proprietary store. Because of this, strangely, Jingdong received a lawyer's letter from the brand oven demanding that it revise the price. Presumably, the oven can be sold at a discount price of 299.5 apiece. Because Li Jiaqi sells it at 648 yuan in his live stream, Jingdong must also sell it at a price more than 648 yuan. It will be more than doubled all of a sudden. Isn't this exactly taking us consumers as chives? In the 40 days when Li Jiaqi was quiet, the Huaxize eyebrow pencil suddenly dropped in price. What used to be 79 yuan a piece becomes a few bucks a piece all of a sudden. So finally, we come to understand why the price of Huaxize eyebrow pencils used to be high all the time. Now, in 43 days, Li Jiaqi once again got himself into trouble over the oven. It turns out that both Jingdong's platform and Li Jiaqi's livestream are selling the same oven, and Jingdong has it over 300 yuan cheaper, which puts the brand in a position of violating the price agreement with Li Jiaqi. Li is guaranteed the lowest price. Naturally, Li demanded compensation. As the brand wasn't willing to pay out this money, it sent a lawyer's letter to Jingdong. The brand also reported Jingdong to the State Administration for Market Supervision and Administration in real name. Jingdong is likely very baffled if it's illegal to sell cheap by offering discounts out of its own pocket. Media in China broke the news that Li Jiaqi had a contract with the oven company. The contract has in essence guaranteed the lowest online price for Li Jiaqi. If the product is sold elsewhere at a lower price, the company will not only compensate Li 2 million, but also compensate the consumers who have ordered from Li Jiaqi's livestream 5 times the difference in price. Li Jiaqi is the top online salesman on China's e-commerce platform. Simply put, the e-commerce platforms have raised top sales like Li Jiaqi. Because these top sales have followers and traffic in their hands, they are able to enjoy a great advantage in pricing. But customers have come to realize that the so-called online anchors or salespeople who claim to help them bargain are actually the ones who exploit them or harvest the chives. This is a famous clip from Li a month ago.
An eyebrow pen costing about $10 has brought the reputation of Li Jiaqi, China's #1 online salesman, to the bottom. Behind this is the grief of young Chinese people who are increasingly afraid to spend money, and their anger that they can't reach their goals no matter how hard they try. A girl in the audience said, "This brand is getting increasingly expensive." How is it getting expensive? It has been this price for so many years. Don't speak nonsense with your eyes wide open. It's hard for a national brand, and this is really not the kind of brand that buys random raw materials to make the product. I've been with it for many years. I know how they built it up, and I am the one who knows it best. They almost showed me everything they had. They almost named their product with my last name, Li, okay? So it's nonsense to say it's expensive. It has been $10.89 for so many years. How come it's expensive? Buy one and receive 2 free replacements.
It's a good deal. US $10.89. Do you want to help me put it on?
Sometimes you should look inside for your own reasons, okay? After so many years, has your salary increased? Have you worked hard? For so many years, the price has remained the same. I'm literally going crazy.
According to Reuters, a China market expert said, low prices and discounts have been the most significant theme. He noted that even the newly released iPhone 15 was sold at a 500 yuan discount. This suggests that no one will readily spend 10,000 yuan or about $1,400 on a phone now. Confidence is a bit weak. The CCP's policies in recent years have been suppressive towards private enterprises, certain industries, and foreign enterprises. Combined with the 3-year lockdown of the epidemic, the retaliatory rebound in 2023 didn't happen as expected, something that the CCP's official media and experts had claimed the lifting of the lockdown at the end of 2022 would bring about. Instead, what outsiders have seen is the irreparable damage that the CCP's policies have done to the society and the economy. It has kept Chinese people's desire to spend in a slump, and also dealt a heavy blow to globalized international companies that rely on China's supply chains. China's economy is currently facing too many problems. Many small and medium-sized enterprises have gone bankrupt and haven't yet recovered. The vacancy rate of offline retail stores and shopping malls remains high. Major domestic technology companies have laid off employees. Real estate companies have experienced breakdown of capital flow and laid off employees at the same time. The unemployment rate among young people is high, and local governments are in debt. During the crisis, civil servants or teachers are owed wages. Exports are weak, there is a lack of orders, and factories in many places go on long holidays. The disasters created by the CCP government will undoubtedly fall on the people. If you are an ordinary Chinese person, do you have any good ways to deal with it? Yes, there is. One can follow the call of Double 11, the festival of bachelors, and become a bachelor. If you are almost 50 and still unmarried, don't think you have failed in life. Soon you are going to be a success. Hold on for a few more years. You'll be a household with 5 guarantees. That is, a low-income household with guaranteed food, clothing, medical care, housing, and burial expenses. You'll have no worries about food and clothing and receive at least 600 yuan per month, plus free hospital visits. Every year, the village chief will offer you a red packet on New Year's Eve, as well as a few kegs of cooking oil and a few bags of rice. You'll probably receive more than those with children. If you got married and had children, you might be considered lucky with filial children if your children didn't take advantage of you. They visited you a few times a year, dining at your house and taking away your chicken, ducks, fish, meat, and pension. They waved goodbye and took off. The key is they would make you ineligible for a low-income household with 5 guarantees. No need to admire those people with children and grandchildren. They might be in a worse position than the 5 guarantee households if their offsprings weren't good or filial. So, in those cases, who would dare to ridicule you as an aged bachelor? Ha! Perseverance leads to triumph.